What's up, everyone? This is Ronnie and Mr. Pete today. Craigslist Hunter is coming to you today live. And let us know how you hear us, how you see us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Unfortunately, Chet is not with us today. He has some family stuff going on that he needed to attend to. So hopefully he'll be back by next Friday. But what's going on, Mr. Ronnie? How's the weather and your back of the woods? It's so nice out here in Chicago.
Where did Pete go? My weather is fine, Pete. Where did Pete go? Uh, I hope the weather's fine where everybody else is. But my weather's good. Nice to see you come back. It's been warm up here. It's been in the high 50s, 60s. It's been getting good. Yard sales, I'm starting to see a few here and there. We went to a few actually on Market Vineyard last week, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, how was that? How was that island?
I haven't been there, and last time I was there was 21 years, and I don't think I missed much. It was fun though to go and hang out. When you came here, did you go to any of the islands?
No, I didn't. No,
I
I
mean, it was
didn't.
cool, but it's a lot of lighthouses and beach. The same thing I see on this side on the Cape. So, it was cool to see it and drive around and see what was going on, see different like sites and stuff like that. They have an area in is it Edgartown, I think, of all these like little gingerbread houses they call them.
Uh-huh.
They was because I download an app on my phone. I was trying to see how much they cost for those things. They were like $2 million for like these really small little houses on top of each other. Not small, but like maybe 3 bedroom, 2 bath houses on top of each other. And I was like, holy cow, they get that much money for these things? But we went to a estate sale on one of them, so it was pretty cool to see the house. But we had to park like 3 blocks away. It was a pain in the butt to get over there because they're just the streets are narrow. You can't really.
How
My
long
stupid truck is just a pain in the ass to park.
how long is the ferry to get there, and how much they charge for like your truck to put it on a ferry?
Um, for out of if we went out of Hyannis, it would have been more. I don't know exactly how much it was out of Hyannis, but it was a longer ferry ride too. It's like a 2 hour ferry ride. But we drove to Woods Hole, which is on the other side of Falmouth, more closer to that area, about 20-mile drive. And it was only maybe 25, 30 minute, I would say 30-minute ferry ride. But you have to get in line a half hour before and get into your line and, wait there. They can give up your spot if you're not there. So, there's a little bit of time involved getting, set up and ready to go. And I think the cost was, I don't know how much individually the cost was. I know I just paid 225 for 4 adults in the truck.
Okay.
I think it was most of it was the truck. I think it was only like $16 round trip for people, like $8 each way. I think the truck was the majority of the fee, like $1.60 maybe on the truck.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to compare it because there's if you want to cross like Lake Michigan, you go way up north, and let's say you want to cross it from around I think it's like two different spots, like Sheboygan, then all the way in Green Bay, and you can cross instead of driving, all the way around Lake Michigan to get to upper part of Michigan. You can cross it on a ferry, and I think it's like 4 hour. It takes 4 hours or 4.5 hours on a ferry, or maybe even longer. I can't remember now, but it was like $350 for a car, and then like $10 or $12 a person.
Oh wow, that's a
Yeah.
long drive. I mean, that's a long ferry ride though.
Yeah.
But they have a ferry ride. We never took it, but they have one from Santo Domingo to Puerto Rico, and we've always talked about possibly, renting a car or something, taking that one, or using somebody's car we know over there and going to Puerto Rico every time we go there. But we've never done it. Only other time I was on a ferry was drove on a ferry was from Vermont, somewhere over in Vermont. You cross the Hudson into New York. and it was during last year's. We went on a picking trip just before Christmas, and went up to like Watertown and up that way up. And it was like all of a sudden the GPS is taking me to a ferry. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But it was easy. It was like a 10-minute ferry ride over. I think it's Plattsburgh from Burlington, Vermont, maybe, or something like that on the other side. It was pretty cool. It was cold though. That was wintry mess.
Marky is not very happy with our boring talk about ferries. Sorry, Marky. If you don't like it, you can leave.
What would you like us to talk about, Mark?
Well, he says, I want to hear reselling. I came here about reselling, so.
We talk about life.
Is there anything that we can talk about reselling? There's 782 channels about reselling, and every channel covered the same topic about 72 times. I don't think there's anything to talk about reselling.
The funniest part thing I always get a kick out of is when somebody will do something on reselling and somebody else doesn't even see their channel or watches them. They do a video and it's like similar about a certain subject, and somebody will be like, "They're taking my idea." It's like, yeah. Seriously. I said, if you really want to go back to my videos, I did the same video 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm just redoing it for people that are coming to my channel. They're like, "Oh, can you update that video or do something different?" Like,
no, Mark, I'm not picking on you at all. I know. He says, ferry talk is boring. Let's talk reselling. But it's laughing out loud. No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, pop them here in a chat, and maybe we can address them. I mean, really, I mean, there's nothing really new, super new, like far as news to talk about. I'm excited and anxious for garage sales, but really that's about it. I mean, I was hoping this weekend there'll be some, but there's zero. Actually, I'm very surprised. I haven't seen any single sign anywhere out, out on the streets, and it's been in 60s. It's supposed to be almost 70, I think, Sunday, but it's been quiet. I'm excited though.
Yeah, there's some question here about have you ever sent a VCR DVD combo into Amazon, or do you just prefer eBay with that?
Last time I sent any electronics to FBA was probably about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And I stopped actually not because I didn't get good money or anything. There were pretty good money, but for some reason, the packages that I would prepare and send them in, quite a few of them got damaged. And it's not a bad thing because, Amazon will pay you for the stuff that they damage in a warehouse, right? But it seems like quite a few got of them damaged, and they were big. When I pack them and bubble wrap them, put them in a box and put the sticker on top, I had quite a few problems. So I stopped basically sending in any of the bigger, bulkier stuff to FBA. Right now, I probably got maybe 5% of my stuff selling on Amazon. How about you? I know you dabble quite a bit.
I do. It runs hot and cold. It kind of just goes by what we find. If we find stuff, I don't like sending in used stuff very often to Amazon, or unless it's just things that seem to sell over, like video games sell, and half the time I don't even send them in. They just sell right away. I just put them on there, merchant fulfill, and they sell. They're cheap enough and small enough to send. That's not worth my time to send them in. It just depends if I'm getting more for it on eBay or more for it on Amazon. What they selling for, but video games are, it just depends. I love games and puzzles, new games and puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, I think games, they sell on any freaking platform. I mean, games are just hot overall. I mean, you got a good game, it's gonna sell. So, wow, that's a really nice sale, Marky Wonder. Reel to reel, RT 909 Pioneer, $1,400. Very nice, super cool sale. Yeah, that's good money. Yeah, reel to reel. from reputable companies like Pioneer, Akai, Sony. Yeah, they can bring some serious money if they're in good condition, of course.
There was what was it? How's your smoking going? Your non-smoking.
Day number 11. You know, it's still tough, man. I get, yeah, it's just been smoking for so long, and I thought it was gonna be like a 2-3 days was gonna be the hardest part, but man, it's been 11 days later, and it's just still tough. But I'm fighting it. Hey, I'm staying with it, so I'm very proud of myself, actually. So one day at a time. That's exactly right, Stephen Steph. Yep, one day at a time. That's all I can do.
Here's a question. I was going to ask this question. How's your personal eBay account doing?
Oh, you know what? It's not doing anything. I totally abandoned it. Well, I wouldn't say abandoned it. I mean, I still, like the other day, I packed something and shipped out a couple days ago. Um, I had so much stuff going on that the last couple months I haven't done anything. I maybe listed 5 items within last month and a half. I swear to God, I just really didn't have time. Um, Plus, I did a project in my house again. We just finished the basement completely, so that was kind of putting a little stop, a dent on that whole project. Just it was just too much. I'm gonna change a little bit how I'm gonna do things on there. I still want to do it, but it was just too much. Just being honest, man. I pretty much abandoned it within the last month and a half.
It's definitely, I mean, when you came up with the whole idea, I was like, oh man. It was like, that's very, um, I don't know, it's a lot of work because you put in a lot of hours to begin with, you know, then you got family and
Right. I mean, on average, I put probably about 60 hours a week in my shop on average. And then I got a couple other things going so yeah, it was just a little bit too much. I don't know. Maybe now, since my basement is done, maybe I can. But I got another project now. I'm working on a yard. It's just like it's still, the house is not completed yet, so I got always, something going on.
yeah, there was a
Yeah.
question here about yard sales or auctions. So I guess which ones do we like more?
Um, Personally, I think I like yard sales better. Although I do enjoy auctions, but see, the thing is, for me at least, with yard sales, every single one that you come up to, you never know what you're going to find. With the auction, you go there, you scope it, you see it, you find a few things, you like it. Okay, I'm going to stick around, I'm going to bid on them, right? But with yard sale, every 15-10 minutes when you're moving to another one, it's a potential for something new. So it's like it's just two different worlds, I guess. They're both fun. They're both fun.
Yeah, yard sales are definitely more fun. Auctions, I mean, there's also the choice with auctions that you could just run into stuff being bidded up or not going, where you could make money on it, and next thing you know, you're walking away with nothing. It's like I just spent all day here. That's happened to me a few times. I'm like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah, you
But I
definitely you definitely got to have a little bit of patience on auctions. When you hit an auction and there's few things that you are interested, you got to stick around and you got to go through the bull crap that you don't want to buy, and you're just kind of sitting there and waiting, for your item to come up. So, but sometimes you can really, really get a good deal on auctions. So, I mean, it
I love
depends.
estate sales though. Estate sales. I just love going to estate sales. Outside of the whole waiting in line thing before it starts, but I
Yeah.
love it. Now that it's starting to warm up, it's not that bad. But when it's 30 degrees and you're outside an hour before a sale starts, it's
Yeah.
like, what is this nonsense? But
James said Tesla is ramping up the production. Have you put in your order yet? I put in my order almost 2 years ago and I still don't have it. Damn it, Tesla. Yeah, I got an email from them. A second email, I think it was end of March. Then they push my order again, and now I'm looking like September or October or something like that. It's just, I don't know. They're so behind, so behind. Anyway, whatever. It's just, it's a car for my wife anyway, and she really wants a SUV, not so much a regular sedan. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, if anything, I'll probably flip that car and make a couple grand on it. You know.
always good. Now, do some question there. Does any of your daughters, when they graduate school, have any interest in working in the shop?
None whatsoever. None. And they both worked in my shop when they were younger, when they were in high school. Even my older daughter, when she would visit in the summertime from college, she would work, you know, a couple days here and there for me. But no, none of them have any interest. My older one actually finished. She finished her vet school already, as far as the classes goes. Now she's doing the internship in a hospital for another 8 months or so. So she has zero interest. She loves her animals, you know. She always did. And my older one, she's into biology as well, and she's gonna pursue a med school. So no, they don't want anything to do with daddy's hustle, you know. So
That's, I mean, they both want to go about their business, I guess, and start a new adventure. There was a question here. I can't figure out where it went now. Do you guys collect any metal or cans? Or collect anything, maybe, in general?
cans, I don't know. No, I don't collect any cans. I don't collect unless you consider this metal. This is metal right here behind me. Bunch
I
of
mean, like
metal.
scrapping? Like, I forgot who it was now.
Iron, cast iron. I don't know.
I mean, if it's like towards like scrapping, I've never done any of that stuff. There was actually a guy when we were, because I was watching the vehicles get off the ferry. Here we go to the ferry again. But there was this, I guess, a scrapper. He had a pickup truck, well, a long bed pickup truck with a net over it. And you could see all kinds of metal stuff. And then he was towing what was like a small, maybe half-ton pickup with a dump bed on the back of it. And I was just thinking, like, how much money is that costing you to get off the island to scrap that stuff? Because I don't
Yeah,
even think we have a place on the Cape that will give you good prices. You have to go like probably another hour.
yeah,
So
but he might have very little competition going out that way, finding metal. You know.
I'm
So
assuming people just give that stuff to you if you. I mean, most of that stuff is.
Lani
But I was just
Lani
saying,
Lani says heavy metal. I'm actually not into heavy metal at all. You like heavy metal, Ronnie?
I did when I was in high school. I like Guns N' Roses or what was the other one?
That's not.
Metallica.
Oh,
That's heavy
Guns N'
metal.
Roses. It's not heavy
Well,
metal. Come on.
not really. I mean, I think they're in the genre, but it's not really.
No.
Metallica, maybe.
Yeah.
I think my wife's trying to get me to go to a concert of Metallica's in October, maybe. I think. I don't remember when. We actually have a friend that's coming, and I think it's in Albany, New York. But to be like back to my days of a running track, that's what we used to listen to.
Yeah. Thanks, homeless picker. Appreciate that. Love watching you guys. Well, we try. We try. I'm trying to save some cash to buy pickup truck. Yeah, definitely. Pickup truck, you can do all kinds of stuff. If you're not picking, like us, you can always go pick up a scrap metal and flip it, So
That is true. Could be like what's his name? Oh man, I'm very bad with the names of these people. That kid,
taco
Pennsylvania.
stacks.
Yeah, drives around his van, throwing stuff in there. He's
Yeah.
real picky when he has the Jeep, though, of what goes in that Jeep. He's like,
He reminds me, listen, he reminds me of me like 20 years ago. I swear to God. The flea markets, the scrap metal picking. I mean, that's how I broke my foot, from the freaking scrap metal. I fell off the freaking dumpster that we had at our yard and full of scrap metal. This was years ago now, but yeah, here it is funny when you say that he's so picky. Like when he's driving his Jeep, he's like, I would take that, but I'm in my Jeep. I don't have my van with me. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I like him. Yeah, his videos are pretty cool.
I like watching people that do something different than me. It's just enjoyable. I rarely watch any TV, so it's, I'll be listing or doing something on the computer, so it's always like, oh, let me, listen to something, and I find myself watching it, and it's just always interesting to see how other people make money and stuff like that.
World Top 10 says Metallica was the best concert I ever seen. Yeah, I never seen him live, so that would be kind of interesting too. I mean, to see these guys in a real concert.
They gotta be up.
Although I was never like a huge big fan, I was never into really like heavy metal, hard rock and stuff like that. I mean, classical rock, yes, but like nothing really really heavy. But I think that band would be really really cool to see. So
I only got into that one CD really they had when I was in high school. It was probably 94, 93, 94, somewhere around there. Never, never. And it's
okay.
the same. Not chasing anybody away. But I don't know a lot of their songs. But
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with the chat here.
it's funny because it jumps around on you, and you're like, "Hey, come back!"
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just so interesting. Just us in the community about how everybody makes their money differently. And it's just interesting. There's clothes sellers that get their stuff from the bins, or you pay up, or sell a metal, or have a shop like yourself, or just a wide variety of go-getters.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many different ways you can make money, in this business. It's crazy, You just got to stick with it and be patient. The problem is most people are not. So the turnaround is pretty big. I had a guy today actually. After I got off the phone with you, what time we talked about? Like noon or something?
Somewhere around there.
And about 2 o'clock or like 2:30, this guy shows up with the pickup truck full to the I mean, he had a cap on the back full of electronics, receivers, VCRs, combos, speakers, and everything was from that era of mid to late 90s. So it's not very profitable, but like, I'm giving up. I'm done with eBay. I'm done. I'm done reselling. I brought everything to you. He brings me the whole freaking truck. He says, just give me anything and take it. I don't want this anymore. Just take it. I'm like, okay. So we came up with the deal and I took it all. And actually, it's funny because we unloaded everything. And as I'm going through the stuff, I'm not kidding you, one third of it I loaded right into my truck and I took it to Savers because it was just such a crappy stuff that, but the deal was either I buy everything or I don't buy anything. You know what I mean? He just wanted to
Right.
get rid of everything. So we settled on a certain amount of money. Boom, boom, it was done. And then I load up my truck and I took it to Savers, and the rest of it, we are still going through it and testing it. But some people, after a while, they just say, that's it. It's not for me anymore. I'm done. I'm not selling anymore,
Well, you see it happen all the time. I mean, and it'll be like when they raise the fees or something, they get crazy. I'm going to Amazon, that's it, or I'm not selling on eBay anymore. It's like, well, it's just part of business. You'll move on, and you know, I mean, at some point, I think maybe it's just burnout. Maybe it's what you're doing. You know what I mean? People take breaks and come back. It's no different than a real job. You just get into that repetitive thing of doing the same thing over and over and over, where it's not enjoyable. You could do reselling and it might not be enjoyable for some people.
No, you gotta make it enjoyable, at least a little bit. At least you gotta like that part of a hunt or something, because otherwise you're gonna burn out really quick. And I know most of us, of course we don't like the part of actual listing, or maybe taking pictures or writing descriptions or whatever. But at least you gotta like something about it, And if it becomes boring on every single end, then you just gotta, throw the towel and forget about it. It's got to be enjoyable. If you can't make it enjoyable, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things like that people just don't enjoy. Of maybe it's listing or something like that, but I just love to hunt. I don't care if it's a thrift store or whatever it is. I just love going out there looking for stuff. I mean, there's certain things that get harder and harder to look for, but
Yeah.
it's fun. And Steven Steph asked if I would ever sell a car on eBay again, and that might happen next year once we get settled somewhere. I think not like real crazy, but I would like to flip a few cars a year. I think I actually enjoyed it. I would like to do it.
Yeah, like James says here, you got to find fun items. You know what I mean? Something that stuff about or excites you. And, I mean, obviously, sometimes it's really hard just sticking with one niche, right? Because it might not be enough money. So you got to go after different things. But still, long as you're still finding that niche that you enjoy, it's like finding treasure all the time. That what makes it interesting, so and fun.
Yeah, I always get like I'll watch a video and I'm always so quick about how you've done it for so long and electronics. You see something, you're like, oh, I know what I can get for that, or you see that receiver thing and you're like, yep, sold this before I know what we can get for it approximately. And that's just, I guess it's like the same thing. I see some piece of clothes, I've sold it before I know what I can get for it, but I'm over there with the electronics like this, going, what can I get for that?
Yeah. Somebody's asking, Pete, don't you do cleanouts anymore? No, I don't. I sold the company now. Was it gonna be 3 years or 2 years, something like that? Yeah, I sold the junk platoon. We don't do cleanouts anymore. It was just too much. And the competition got fierce, and the money wasn't there anymore. So bye bye to that business.
Those do not seem like much fun. I'm dealing with someone. It's like a clean out kind of deal, and it's like they keep because they got their time pushed back, so they push back when they're, and it's just like I just want to see it and see if it's worth it. Other than a few pictures, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the cleanouts, Don't get me wrong, we did find some good stuff, but I would say 70% of the stuff, it was just garbage, and it was going straight to the landfill. If we had more interesting stuff, we would then bring everything to the warehouse that we had, and we sorted out in the warehouse, and we kept the good stuff, and the shit and garbage got loaded up again on the trucks and take it to the dump. But it was a lot of work. And we got less and less and less of the decent cleanouts, and so it's a lot of work. Just like doing, what you may call storage lockers. You never know what you're gonna get. Most of the time, good 50, 60, 70% of the stuff that you get in that locker, it's garbage that you gotta throw away or donate or whatever.
I'm like curious about it because my wife will always be like, "Oh, don't you ever try it?" And I look at them on the websites, and I'm like, "Nah." They just look like I don't know. They look like a little too much work than what I like. Or if I'll see like one with 3 different mattresses in there, and I'm like shaking my head because I'm starting to think of like dump costs and getting rid of stuff. Like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Chad's not here tonight. He's dealing with a death in his family, so he's back home in Indiana.
Yeah. Pete, are you going to do an update? We just talked about it, about my side gig about electronics. Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna do a video about it. Right now, it's on a back burner at the moment. So, if you want to rewind this video, I talked about it for a little bit, about half an hour ago or so, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, about 20 minutes ago, probably somewhere in that area.
There's a good question for you, Ronnie. What brand names to focus on a men's suits?
I just made a video about within the last month of the top suit brands and sport coat brands I like to buy. Um, some of the brands are like Brooks Brothers, and because they have so many different models, Ralph Lauren, J Press, Suit Supply, Brioni, but that's like getting into like crazy high end stuff. But there's stuff that you find out there. But if you want to see that video, just go back a few videos. Made a whole video explaining suits and sport coats and that kind of thing.
Okay, I'm trying to copy and paste something and it's not working for me. What's going on? It's so different to do this stuff on iMac. I'm used to my laptop and now it's like
Somebody would say, how do you ship a fishing pole
in a tube? I'll tell you guys how I do it. There's 2 different ways that you can do it. Obviously, you can buy tubes from, I don't know, UPS store, or you can buy tube from Uline. Depending on a rod, if it's a bait caster rod that has small guides on it, it doesn't require a really big tube, right? Usually 1.5 inches in diameter will work for it. Now, if you're having a spinning rod, when have bigger guides on it, you can't fit that to the small tube. You need at least like a 3-inch, 2.5 to 3-inch tube to fit the rod in because of the big guides on it. Now you can go and buy, and it's probably the safest way, thin PVC pipe at any local, hardware store or Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever you have around your house, as far as hardware stores go. And you can buy an 8-foot piece, for a few bucks. Or what I do, you can actually go to like a Lowe's or Home Depot, and you know how they have a long carpet rolls that they sell, that they're 12 feet long. those carpet rolls sit on a 5-inch tubes, and they usually have these tubes stack up right by the carpet, and you can walk in and ask if you can grab them. They usually throw them out. And every couple weeks, when I'm at Home Depot or something, I go in and I'll walk out with 2 or 3 tubes out of there, just have them sitting in my shop. Yeah, I know they're kind of inconvenient because they're 12 feet long, but they're free and they're extremely durable. So that's, I use those a lot for shipping fishing rods.
There was another interesting question over here. Oh, shipping a Coleman lantern. My post office clerk said if there is any smell of gas or kerosene, they won't take it. Any packaging suggestions for prepping and shipping gas? I think you have to send that stuff wet ground, right? So I mean, you could probably send it FedEx or something. Just
Yeah, I mean, it's got to go ground as long as you drain everything. If it's completely drained out of gas and oil, you can ship it. You probably never gonna get rid of smell if it was used. I don't know. Use a can of Febreze on it. I don't know. Spray it with some perfume. I don't
yeah.
know. That
I mean,
stuff can go ground.
I mean, I would. I mean, I got this the other day. I think there's some oil in here still. I got this oil can. I think there's. I'm gonna clean it up, but someone
I
sent that to me.
I never
It's
had a problem. I send Coleman lanterns all the time. Old one, vintage, newer ones. I sell them all the time. I just drain it, air them out a little bit, and ship them. As long as there's no liquid in them, there should be no issue.
Here's an interesting question because this is gonna. I mean, this is gonna differ for us big time between me and you. But what percentage of your gross sales each month do you reinvest in your inventory?
Uh, I'm gonna say about 50 to 60%.
So you're definitely a lot different than me because we just had our taxes done not too long ago. So it's the only reason I know. I don't think I spent. Well, no, it depends on if I include signs in that, it's differently. But if I just still stuck to like eBay and Poshmark and the clothing sales, I think we usually spend between 1,000 to 15. No, I think it was like 500 to 1,500 a month, just depending on the month. And that's probably somewhere around like 10 to 15%.
So let's say, okay, what did you end up doing last year? Like
On
gross sales?
eBay was 102,000
102.
and
So that makes sense
another,
because you're saying about what, 1,000 to 1,500. Let's say 1,000, about 12,000 bucks a year you're invested. So about 10, 12%.
yeah. And then Amazon was another, I don't know what Amazon was. I can't remember now. But there was a few other things. I had some stock sales and stuff like that. So my taxes this year were kind of a little crazy, a little more different than they usually are.
Yeah. See, me, it's at least 50%, if not 60. It depends on a month. Sometimes it's 60 even. Um, yeah, quite a bit. I mean, on average in a shop, I spend about 30 grand a month for new merchandise coming in. So,
What have you been doing on eBay recently? You still hitting those big numbers?
yeah, it's been pretty good. I think this month we're gonna do just under 60 grand, like 57, 58,000. We still got a couple days left. That's what I'm at right now.
I
So
always
that's what
get
I'm
different.
saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you see the numbers, so you see roughly what, where I'm getting at. If I spend 30 grand, return, you know what I mean? It's about 50, 60%. And then you got shop on top of it. Shop makes some money too. So
Do you make more on eBay than the shop? Basically, does most of your money come from eBay? or a larger percentage?
Yeah, I would say 70-30. 70% eBay, 30% shop.
And what percentage of stuff coming into your shop is stuff you resell? I'm assuming that's the biggest way you get stuff now too, right?
90%.
Okay.
90% stuff comes into the shop, and about 10% I just hunt on the street, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, you have to have the shop, really, basically, even though you're not selling the hugest amount of stuff in the shop. The stuff coming in, it offsets the price and
For sure.
everything.
For sure. The whole idea of having a shop was to have the stuff coming into you instead of going out and looking for it, you know? So, and that's how I built most of the relationships because of the shop, you know? So it's just, shop is huge. It is huge. I mean, it's and it's funny because lately, within last 2 years, I feel like my shop is becoming like this hangout place. Like remember that sitcom Cheers
I was
from
thinking that.
80s, and that's how it is exactly. All these pickers, all these guys who resell, that will show up and will just bullshit about stupid stuff and business, and every day there's always few guys hanging out, and somebody's bringing donuts, somebody's bringing coffee, and just so it's funny how that works. It's like a hangout place too.
It's good though. It's like a family, you know, and you just get people bringing stuff into. I gotta have people bring clothes into me. Hello, people. Anybody want to bring me any clothes? I'll take anything. I'll take old oil cans too. There's this old display case at my Salvation Army. It's not for sale, but I want it, and I want it just to. It's like one of those glass display cases with the grooved what do you call it? Like it's old, but you know what I mean, like where it's all in together. I want to get it just to put my oil cans in it.
Yeah.
My wife's like, seriously? I'm like, maybe they'll sell it eventually someday.
Here's a question. I know nothing about Amazon FBA. Oh, hold on. It just jumped on me. Hold on. I know nothing about Amazon FBA, but I know many eBay sellers use it for pristine or new in package items. Can you explain when and why is it worth it to do FBA for that?
Simply just look up your item. Look up the item. Everything has a barcode on it. We'll take, for instance, this. You have your barcode, and you look up your barcode. Like this, for instance, is a GPS. I haven't checked if this I scanned. It's showing, I think, like 40, $50 on FBA. But on eBay, this sells as low as like $15. So for me, because it's complete, it's used, but it's complete. It has everything, all the manuals and everything. I don't think it's even been actually messed with. It's actually worked better for me just to send that into Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll get 20, 30 things. I'll throw them in a tote or two totes. And every month or 2 months, I'll send stuff in, and it's just based off of what sells. And I'll list the stuff right away. So that way, if it sells, I just merchant fulfill it myself, in the meantime. And, it's just.
Yeah. Just be extremely careful when it comes to new stuff. When Amazon says new, it means new. Not open, nobody ever tampered with it, original package, sealed 99% of the time. If it's
No,
not sealed, it's not new. It's
yeah,
not considered new by Amazon. So don't try to pass it on because you're going to get in trouble.
no dented boxes, no ripped cellophane. You might get away with a few here or there, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. I mean, I had issues. That was the reason why I got kicked off eBay because Amazon, because I was cutting a lot of. I was doing a lot more on Amazon before I was on eBay, but I was cutting a lot of corners and just being a freaking,
Yeah.
not using the platform the right way.
No. I mean, there's ton of videos. Go just type in FBA Amazon on YouTube, and you're gonna come across million videos explaining how to do it, what works, what not. It's definitely different platform than eBay. Okay, totally different. So
I don't like it as much, but when I'm out and there's just certain things that sell better over there that I'll just pick up. And it's not. I'm not going to like retail stores and hunting down product and stuff like that. I have a hard enough time going into Walmart for something that get for the wife or something.
uh,
There was a. Is there any good healthcare insurance to get since I'm self-employed? I mean, I think we can just talk about what. How do you have your health insurance? Is it through your?
yeah, I got it through my wife's work, so I don't have to worry about it actually. Yeah, but there's a lot of different private plans that you can go after. I mean, it's not cheap, but
Yeah, I think ours is through just through the regular Massachusetts website .gov or whatever it is. Obama plan. I don't know whatever they consider it. We've had it, and it fluctuates in price every year depending on how much I decide that I claim I make every year. But it's been approximately $400 or $500 usually is what I pay for me and the wife. And you kind of need it. I mean, you could, 400 or 500, you could look at it two different ways. You can look at it and say, okay, that's what, $6,000 a year, chance it and see what happens, and just go to a walk-in clinic, put it on a credit card or something if something happens, or, just get the insurance and know the peace of mind that if something crazy happens, you just go to the emergency room. I'm in the emergency room a lot. I'm in the emergency room I get a little discomfort. I'm in the emergency room. It's like, I don't, because they have it's really close to our house. It's like a half a mile. They have one of these like urgent care things. It's through the hospital. So I could get an X-ray and be in and out of there in like 35 minutes, 40 minutes. It's like really quick and everything like that. So I don't mind going. And then the wife is on my ass sometimes too, because I have a high threshold for pain. She'll be like, "No, you need to go. That's been bothering you for a week or something like that."
yeah. No, I mean, people take chances, but that's something I wouldn't take a chance. I mean, I know it's not cheap, but if something serious happens, it's just the bills can add up so quickly. It's crazy.
Definitely
So
can. I mean, it's definitely.
no, yeah, like the Lou D711 says healthcare.gov. Yeah, just check it out in your state, and I'm sure you can find info on it.
Yeah, they're kind of weird. Like when you have to have a deadline or something like that. But usually there's at least two times a year. Usually you can get in like halfway through the year. Sometimes you can get in. So, but
Uh, ben,
any
go. I'm sorry. I was gonna say. I was gonna read this comment here. Benji says retirement is another topic you don't hear much about in the reselling community. That's true. You don't hear many people talking about how they plan the retirement when they're reselling. Any thoughts on that, Ronnie?
it, I mean, me and my wife have this discussion probably once a year, and that's why I do play with some stocks and stuff like that. We try to every, I can't say like monthly, but at least every year we try to reinvest. And I've had some decent investments over the years. I haven't really lost anything, but just try to play it safe and stuff like that on things. But my whole thing is that eventually I'm going to move back to the Dominican Republic. We're going to have our house paid for there, and hopefully, I mean, I don't even know what Social Security is now. It's like what 75 years old or something. You have to be to collect that. So, I mean, I'll probably be selling or hustling something till I'm 75 years old. If I gotta import cars to the Dominican Republic, so be it. I'll be importing cars, or there's
Yeah, I
always
mean,
something to do.
that's the only nice thing about this gig, reselling, that you can be doing this for a very long time, right? I mean, even when you were older, you can still be buying and flipping stuff. This will never go away. But like for me, I mean, I do invest in real estate. I do, we have some raw IRA. My wife has 401k for a very long time. I do like to stock up my silver. Believe it or not, it's not maybe as much as like I'm looking as a retirement, but it's just my crazy little hobby that I just like coins, and they just keep piling, and it adds up actually when you think about it. It does add up. And if eventually silver ends up going a little bit higher, it's always a nice thing to have in your safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of different options. I look at different things like, rent a house on Airbnb, if you have an extra house. I see people do that all the time. And there's a lot of different interesting things you can do. There's also that, was it, it's like an Airbnb for cars, Toro. I've watched that for like 2 or 3 years now. We even rented a few cars in there in the past. And it's interesting, but it's kind of like Airbnb, but you rent a vehicle. And there's people with all kinds of cars on there, like Teslas and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but
Yeah, I
there's
know they
always,
do that for boats or RVs as well. I seen there's some people were like renting RVs as well.
yeah, they do have one for RVs too. It's like RV share, something. I've seen it because I was curious about renting one for a while just to, maybe even see if it's worth something I like, you know. I mean, there's ways for people to make money if you have an extra car you're not using or house that you're not using, or, you know, because we're going to run into that problem in the Dominican Republic. We're going to have too many properties eventually, and we're going to have to rent one or two of them out at the way we're going. And that's where the wife wants to be eventually. So we'll have to make it happen one way or the other.
Somebody says nobody takes care of rentals like the owners, though. Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Um,
that's what unfortunately happens. But,
yeah,
you make money off of it, but nothing is perfect. There's drawbacks to everything, including eBay, Amazon, reselling, working for yourself. There's good and bad, plus and minuses. Just have to have the pluses outweigh the minuses.
yeah. And then you always have the inventory on eBay that you can liquidate.
I always
So
get that question probably once a month. I want to liquidate my eBay inventory. What's the best way? You think somebody will buy it for, they come up with whatever price they think that it's valued at. Like, hey, I got $20,000. You think I can sell it for 10? It's like probably the easiest way you're going to be able to liquidate your inventory is just by throwing it up on auction, unfortunately, and just letting it go.
Ronnie and Pete, do you or have you ever created an item to sell? Oh, like private label? Is that what you guys are talking about? No, I'm not into the private label whatsoever. It's not my game. I have no interest in it whatsoever. And the main reason for it is there's already 7 billion items for sale. Why should I create 7 billion and one?
My
No,
wife always
it's not my
gets on
game.
me about trying to come up with something, and I don't have the interest for it. I just, you know, maybe what catches my eye is like maybe, and I think you've had some instances where you had someone make you furniture, didn't you, for
Yeah,
resale or something like that. That interests me, but I'm not sure like what the market would be for it. You know,
yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to. I mean, back in the day, I always was thinking that I want to invent something. I wanted to be, inventor, get a patent for this and that. Um, no, not anymore. Not anymore.
I make wooden bras. It hasn't caught on yet. Oh boy.
Drifty Maze repeats. So you can pay 20K up front and get stuck with a container full of crap you can't sell. I don't get it.
I guess they may be talking about private label. If you got something,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, no, no, it's not my game.
But it's I some people do really well at it, like the Gilmans, they do really well at it. Have multiple products, but I
Yeah.
can't. It's I can't even wrap my head around one product. And probably by the time you get one product up and going, it's probably it's like what's the word I want to use? It's very competitive, that market. You come up with an item, it's probably short term before somebody else comes up with something a little twist or a price cheaper, or and then you're fighting, and then it's you better come up with a different product.
Yeah, it's just a different beast, different game. I don't want to be part of it. I mean, I enjoy what I'm doing, so there's a million things to sell the way they are, and the market constantly changes on that. And when it's competitive there, same thing competitive here. You always got to be on top of it, because if you don't stay on top of it, you know, you lose your
Yeah,
business basically. So,
you definitely got to be always trying to stay ahead of. It's like I was telling people not too long ago. I mean, our inventory is probably half of what we had last year, but our numbers are very similar to where we were, last year with less inventory. So it's just cutting out the stuff that doesn't sell well for us and try to stay with things that do, and then also trying to raise up that average sale price per item up higher and higher every month too, or every quarter.
yeah. Well, it's a constant game of playing. So,
It's definitely a game. It's bad because like that's why I don't go to thrift stores on half off day, because I get stuck with too many things that I'll be like, oh, it's $2, and it's like I get it home and I'm like, bad, Ronnie, bad. The last one took a year to sell.
no.
There was a question. Okay, I've learned so much. Thanks. Quick question. This will be my first year doing taxes. Oh boy, for this business. Do you just tally up one huge amount for all you source each month, or itemize each and every item? What do you do for that?
Nothing. All cash deals, no taxes.
You get a knock on the door Monday. uh,
Hello.
I just add up everything as one entity, and then at the end of the year, we just, if we need to get a specific total, we just subtract how many pieces that we sold versus how much we spent on inventory, and that's how we come up with a price. I can't, it seems like too much work to itemize each item and figure it out that way. At least I think that way. There's probably going to be people arguing with me about that, but
Go ask your accountant. If you trying to make this serious, uh, definitely deal with taxes, deal the right way. Talk to your accountant, see what he needs, what he requires. I'm sure you can get a free info from your local guy who does your taxes, what he needs, and do it right. Quick 15-minute talk on a phone can answer all your questions. We are not experts here, and don't hold us to it, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's why I have a tax CPA, and that's why, I love it, because I don't know, and they change laws like next year. You're not going to be able to write off meals. You know that?
Yep.
So I mean, there's always things changing that you don't know. And even writing off meals, it's only half of what you get now, and it's only one meal. All these different things. That's why I have a tax person to deal with all that stuff, because you could write off so much stuff. It's not really how much you're bringing in; it's how much you're paying on what you're making. Because you don't want to be paying a huge chunk to the IRS. Unfortunately, we love you. I pay taxes every year. I pay huge amount of taxes every year, but the less I pay, the better.
Yeah.
But thank you there, Thrift Meister, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Just consult with your accountant, and I'm sure you get some quick answers. But just keep on a file everything that you're doing. Keep your mileage, keep your receipts, keep your expenses for everything. So.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep track of all your receipts, everything, and usually, and they don't charge that much usually either. I mean, usually they're pretty reasonable. Definitely saves a lot of time. I did taxes one time by myself. It was very stressful, and that was before all this stuff.
Yeah.
But thought I seen a question, but I think I missed it. Ronnie, do you have any reselling opportunities in the Dominican Republic? I'll tell you a story. I was going to save this for a video, but I'll save it for. I'll just tell it here. At one time we sent a lot of stuff back to the Dominican Republic. We actually bought I think it was like a half a pallet stuff of clothes from a. I think we got it from. I can't remember exactly where we got it from, but it was a lot of stuff, and a lot of it went back there. It was newer tags and stuff like that, and we kind of changed what we were doing because of health issues with certain family members and this and that, and it's did not do good whatsoever. I mean, it didn't do bad. We didn't lose any money. We still made money actually, and we gave a lot of stuff away um, when they were cleaning out the house last year during our mother's passing. We had like a whole half a bedroom filled with stuff, and we just gave it away, and we still made money on what we had. We gave it to the church to give to people and stuff like that. So, but I mean, there's a lot of people that they get like the bales of stuff, or you know what I'm talking about, and they send it there and they sell it at the flea markets and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that send stuff back. I mean, if you ever go to the bins, you see a lot of uh, foreigners inside those places. They're taking stacks of stuff. They send it back to wherever they're from, Jamaica, Haiti, wherever it may be, and you see it. There was a guy we always used to vacation in Las Tavenas. It's like a beach area in Dominican Republic. There's a guy in a pickup truck, and he has shoes, used shoes, all in the back of his pickup truck every day on the street going to there. And I'm assuming that's how he was getting his shoes.
Yeah.
You can find.
I mean, I got guys coming in. I got two different guys actually coming in once a month, and they load up on tools. And I mean, they load up, and they look for actually the cheapest stuff that I have, and it's all going to Mexico. He has a truck and a trailer, and he loads up, just even cheap skill saws, saws that I'm selling for $6-7, and he can, double or triple his money taking that stuff back. So
Yeah, I mean, I know Square Deal guy used to do the show with us on Picker's Church. He used to make videos too, but he told me in San Diego they do that, and he's like telling me how crazy it is because they roll up with minivans, and they're driving around, and they have the door open. They don't even close the door in the minivan. They're like hopping out even before the car stops, looking for tools because that was his
Yeah.
niche and what he loved to do. And he was like, "It's so competitive here for tools. What I do, it's crazy."
Like, is he? What's going on with him? Did you talk to him lately at all?
Yeah,
This quarter?
I talk to him quite regularly, probably weekly. He actually works for the San Diego Chargers. I mean, San Diego Padres.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, he's doing good though.
Yeah, is he still flipping a little bit? I know he was, he loved doing the tools when he was out this way, but
Yeah, I mean, he still does stuff, I believe. I'm not, we don't, I don't know. We talk more about just life and stuff like that. Sometimes just don't talk about eBay or Amazon with people. It's about other things,
oh, of
and
course,
just,
of course.
I don't really, I know he gets stuff from, it's like Goodwill auctions, I guess they have down there or something like that in San Diego, and he gets a lot of stuff from there, I believe. But I know he sells it like
Cool,
on
cool.
different platforms. I know he lives right
All
in
right,
San
Ronnie,
Diego.
we've been on for a little bit over an hour. You want to wrap it up?
Yes, sir. So, any final words, or what are you doing this weekend? Anything interesting?
Uh, well, I was hoping for some garage sales, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Although, looks to be a nice day tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have a decent day in a shop. We'll see. But just go out there. Season's starting. It started for many people already. I know most of the country is nice and warm now, so go out there and find some stuff at those garage sales and estate sales.
Yeah, my phone's telling me it's gonna be 61 tomorrow, so I'm hoping for some yard sales at least. But we'll see how it goes. But see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, do anything you want to do. See you guys later. Have a good night.